130,000 Americans shivering in the dark right now. A grandmother in Duluth hasn't had heat for 22 hours, and rescue crews in California are still searching through 9 landslide sites this morning. The weather map is absolutely lit up from coast to coast. Blizzard warnings, avalanche warnings, red flag fire warnings, and winter storm warnings all active simultaneously across 22 states as I'm recording this. And here's what nobody's talking about yet. A 100-mile difference in storm track this weekend could mean the difference between a foot of snow for Boston or just cold rain, and the models are still fighting about it. But what really burns me up this morning, California utilities knew this windstorm was coming 3 days ago with pinpoint accuracy, and they still let 78,000 customers lose power overnight. Same story every single time. Shout out to Linda in Duluth who messaged me at 5 a.m. Power out for 22 hours straight. Indoor temp down to 39 degrees. She's 81 years old and living alone. Linda Honey. Crews are working around the clock for you. Drop your city in the comments right this second. I'm covering 65 cities today plus 3 developing storms. And at the end, I've got 3 bold predictions I want you to screenshot and hold me to. Now, the overnight models just finished running, and I got to tell you, the pattern we're seeing right now is one of the most complex setups I've tracked in months. Multiple threats happening simultaneously. Let's start with what's happening right now in Minnesota because this blizzard is finally winding down after absolutely hammering the North Shore for the past 36 hours straight. Duluth has picked up over 24 inches total with another 4 to 12 inches still possible before this beast finally limps out of here around midday. That's potentially 3 feet in some spots, folks. Grand Marais reporting 26 inches. 2 harbors at 22 Silver Bay pushing 24. These are historic totals for a single event. I mean, we're talking once-in-a-decade type numbers here. Highway 61 along the North Shore remains completely shut down until at least this afternoon. Whiteout conditions with visibility near zero. Do not attempt travel until you hear the all clear from authorities. I talked to a utility worker named Steve last night who's been pulling 18-hour shifts. He said straight up, "This wet heavy snow at 5-to-1 ratios is snapping lines faster than we can possibly fix them. Power crews have made progress overnight. We're down from 11,000 to a few thousand still in the dark. But some rural areas along the North Shore might not see restoration until late tonight or even tomorrow. And here's what frustrates me. The National Weather Service had blizzard warnings up 48 hours in advance. Every model was screaming about this storm, and some folks still got caught off guard. Shout out to Dave in 2 Harbors who commented on yesterday's video saying he checked on 8 elderly neighbors and brought 4 of them to his house because they had no heat. Dave, my friend, you're a hero. That's what community looks like right there. That's what we do for each other when times get tough. And I wish more people were like Dave. Quick question, Minnesota folks. Are any of y'all still without power this morning? Drop your location in the comments. I want to know what you're experiencing on the ground right now. The good news is blizzard warnings expire around noon today, so if you've been stuck inside since yesterday morning, relief is finally coming. Just hang tight for a few more hours. Minneapolis-St. Paul at 51 degrees with just lingering snow showers. Maybe another inch or 2. Traffic conditions improving through the afternoon. Some schools still running e-learning today. St. Paul dealing with the same situation. Watch for black ice on bridges and overpasses tonight as temps drop below freezing. That's always where the accidents happen when folks get careless. Fargo at 50 with the last of the snow pushing through. Bismarck at 44 transitioning over. The entire Dakotas-Minnesota corridor finally catching a break after 36 brutal hours. Now, before I move to the next region, there's something buried under all this blizzard coverage that honestly has me more concerned for the next 24 hours. And I need the Ohio Valley to really lock in here. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow across Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. And folks, they don't pull that trigger in mid-February unless they're genuinely worried. We're talking damaging winds, large hail, and a 5% tornado probability. That 5% brown-hatched area includes Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, Columbus, Dayton, and Evansville. Here's what's driving this threat. A brand new low-pressure system is developing right now on the lee side of the Rockies in Colorado, and it's going to dive southeast through Kansas overnight tonight. By Thursday afternoon, that system rapidly deepens as it crosses the Midwest. We're talking 988 millibars by Friday morning over Wisconsin. and a strengthening low this time of year screams severe weather potential. The timing looks like storms firing up around noon to 1 p.m. near St. Louis and Effingham, racing through Indianapolis and Bloomington by 4 p.m., reaching Cincinnati and Louisville by 6 p.m. That puts the most dangerous storms rolling through right during rush hour traffic, and that's exactly when you don't want people on the roads if tornadoes start dropping. If you're anywhere in those cities Thursday afternoon and you hear thunder rumbling, get your tail inside immediately. Do not wait for a tornado warning. These storms could be moving 50 miles per hour and rotating hard. February tornadoes catch people completely flat-footed because nobody's got severe weather on their radar yet. And that's precisely what makes them so dadgum dangerous. You got to be ready tomorrow. I want everyone in the Ohio Valley to have their severe weather plan locked and loaded by tonight. Know exactly where you're going when that warning drops. Interior room, lowest floor, away from all windows. Have multiple ways to get warnings: phone alerts, weather radio, local TV. Don't rely on just outdoor sirens because you might not hear them if you're inside with the TV on. Quick question for the Ohio Valley folks. Have you actually gone over your tornado plan with your family lately? Do your kids know where to go? Drop it in the comments. Let me know if you're ready. Indianapolis at 60 degrees tomorrow, setting up for those storms. Cincinnati at 61, Louisville at 64, Columbus at 59, Lexington at 62, all sitting right in that slight risk zone. Shout out to Maria in Indianapolis, who messaged me saying she's a teacher and she's worried about dismissal time overlapping with the storms. Maria, that's a legitimate concern. Talk to your principal today. All right. Now let me swing over to California because while the Midwest deals with blizzards and severe weather, you folks out west got absolutely hammered overnight and it ain't over yet. 78,000 Californians woke up without power this morning after 75 miles per hour. Winds ripped through Southern California overnight. That's stronger than some tropical storms, folks. And here's what really gets me. We had 9 separate landslide events reported. 9 different locations where the ground just gave way. Rescue crews are still assessing some of those sites this morning. Shout out to Carlos in San Diego, who messaged me at 3 a.m. saying his power just went out and he could hear debris hitting his roof all night. Carlos, buddy, stay away from windows until those winds finally die down. Los Angeles looking at another round today. 0.3 to 0.6 inches of rain with gusty winds continuing. Urban flooding concerns especially in low-lying areas and anywhere near burn scars from recent fires. San Diego getting hit hard. 0.4 to 0.75 inches of rain with mountain snow of 1 to 1.25 inches at higher elevations. The moisture just keeps streaming in off the Pacific. Fresno at 0.3 to 0.7 inches with localized flooding possible. Sacramento, similar conditions. San Francisco at 55 with half inch of rain and winds gusting to 40. The Bay Area staying soggy all day. Riverside and the Inland Empire looking at 0.4 to 0.7 inches. If you're anywhere near hillsides or burn scars, please be on high alert for debris flows. They can happen with almost no warning. The ground is absolutely saturated from all the rain we've had this month, so even modest rainfall amounts can trigger mudslides right now. If you see water turning brown and flowing, move immediately to higher ground. Quick question, SoCal folks. Any of y'all dealing with power outages or damage this morning? Drop your situation in the comments. Your ground truth reports help this whole community. Now here's the thing about this California system that connects to everything else. It's the same energy that's going to eventually track across the country and potentially become that big East Coast storm this weekend. But before we get to the nor'easter, I got to talk about fire danger because even though we've got all this rain out west, the central part of the country is absolutely bone dry and primed to burn. Red flag warnings are up right now from the Texas Panhandle through Oklahoma. We're talking relative humidity dropping to 5 to 20% tomorrow with winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Amarillo, Elk City, El Reno, all included in that critical fire weather zone tomorrow. If you're in those areas, absolutely positively do not burn anything outside. We had fires yesterday that barely made social media but caused serious problems on the ground. Dry fuels plus strong winds equals fires that spread faster than you can run. I'm not exaggerating. Remember what happened last February with the Smokehouse Creek fire? Over 1 million acres burned in conditions exactly like what we're seeing for tomorrow. 2 people lost their lives in that one. If you see smoke, call 911 immediately. Don't assume someone else already reported it. One spark in these conditions can explode into an unstoppable wildfire within minutes. Now, before I get to the city forecasts, let me tell you about something in the overnight model runs that has the entire weather community absolutely buzzing, and it could affect 50 million people this weekend. Both the European and GFS models are showing a bomb cyclone developing off the East Coast Saturday night into Sunday, and I'm confident we're getting some kind of coastal low. That's not the question anymore. The question is exactly where that low tracks. And right now, there's about a 100-mile spread between the models, which doesn't sound like much until you realize it changes absolutely everything. If this storm tracks close to the coast like the European model wants, we're talking blockbuster snow, 10 to 16 inches for Boston, 8 to 14 for Providence, maybe 6 to 12 for New York City. But if it stays further offshore like some GFS ensemble members suggest, you might just get some snow showers and gusty winds. A completely different story, maybe 2 to 4 inches max. The European ensembles are now showing about a 50% chance of at least an inch of snow for the DC to Baltimore corridor, with 30 to 40% odds of 4+ inches in Delaware and Northern Virginia. And here's what caught my eye this morning. The models have shifted south from yesterday, now showing increased odds even into parts of North Carolina and Virginia Beach. That's a notable change worth watching. The GFS really likes Philadelphia. It likes Delaware. It likes Baltimore. Cape Cod is also getting into that swath of potentially very heavy snow on several ensemble members. Last time we saw the models agree like this was January 2024, and Boston ended up with 18 inches from that storm. So yeah, the potential is definitely there for a big one. Now I gotta level with you. The ensemble spread is still large. We've got members showing a direct hit and members showing the storm way out to sea. We need this to come together more before I'll commit. What I'm watching is whether the operational models and ensembles start converging over the next 24 to 48 hours. That'll tell us which scenario is more likely. If this thing hits, we're looking at potential flight cancellations at every major Northeast airport, schools closing from DC to Boston, and millions of people stuck at home. That's the stakes here. Don't screenshot this and blast it on Facebook saying there's definitely a blizzard coming. We ain't there yet. But if you're in the Northeast, you should absolutely start making contingency plans. Quick question, East Coast folks. Are you ready if this thing verifies? Got your shovels accessible, salt and sand ready, generator fueled up? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your prep status. Shout out to Patricia in Philadelphia, who asked me yesterday what she should do to prepare. Patricia, top off your gas tank Friday. Make sure you know where your snow removal equipment is and have 3 days of food and water just in case. Now I got to talk about the Arctic blast coming behind all of this. Because even if the nor'easter doesn't deliver heavy snow, this cold air is going to be a shock to the system for millions of people. We're talking temperatures crashing 30 to 40 degrees in some locations over a 24-hour period Sunday into Monday. That's the kind of drop that causes pipes to burst and creates flash freeze conditions. The models are showing wind chills dropping into negative territory across the Great Lakes and Midwest, with that bitter cold air stretching all the way into northern Florida by Monday morning. Yeah, you heard that right. Wind chills into northern Florida. The European and GFS are in strong agreement on this Arctic plunge. It's coming whether the nor'easter hits or not. If you're anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas, don't let this warm spell fool you. Winter is making one last serious comeback. Protect any sensitive vegetation and make sure outdoor pets have shelter. After everything Texas went through during Winter Storm Uri, I know y'all don't mess around with these Arctic blasts anymore. Keep your eyes glued to the forecast as we get closer. All right, let me run through the rest of the country because while we've got all this chaos in specific regions, a lot of America is actually pretty quiet today. Enjoy it while it lasts. New York City at 51 degrees with just a trace of rain. Perfect day to make sure your shovels and snow gear are ready for this weekend. Boston at 41 with light showers possible. Philadelphia at 55. Baltimore at 58. Washington, D.C. at 59. The whole Mid-Atlantic enjoying a calm before the potential storm. Take advantage of this quiet weather today. Pittsburgh at 54 with a couple tenths of rain. Buffalo at 41 dealing with trace snow and light rain. Cleveland at 52 with similar conditions. The Great Lakes staying gray but manageable. Detroit at 49 with that rain-snow mix, maybe an inch total. Watch for black ice tonight. Grand Rapids looking at similar conditions with ice concerns developing after dark. Chicago at 51 with just a trace of the mix. Milwaukee at 45, the Windy City finally catching a break after all the active weather to your north and west. Now sliding down to the southeast. And boy, oh boy, while half the country deals with winter chaos, y'all are living your absolute best February life down there. Atlanta at 71 with just a trace of rain. Gorgeous conditions. Birmingham at 72, Nashville at 69, Memphis at 69 Chamber of Commerce weather right across Dixie. Jacksonville at 73, Orlando at 78, Tampa at 76, Miami at 79, Florida, doing Florida things as usual. Snowbirds are absolutely crushing life right now. Charlotte at 67. Raleigh at 67, beautiful conditions today. But keep one eye on that weekend system. The models are now showing increased odds of impacts even into the Carolinas. Quick question for the Southeast folks. Are y'all loving this warmth or do you actually miss winter? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you prefer. New Orleans at 74, Houston at 80, San Antonio at 83, Dallas at 79, Fort Worth at 79. The entire Texas-Louisiana corridor is just perfect today. Austin at 82, El Paso at 72. My buddy in San Antonio sent me a video of his grandkids playing in sprinklers yesterday. Sprinklers in February. Meanwhile, Linda in Duluth is wrapped in blankets at 39 degrees. But Texas, don't pack away those winter coats just yet. That Arctic blast I mentioned is coming for you Sunday into Monday. Temps could crash 35 to 40 degrees in 48 hours. Oklahoma City at 79, Tulsa at 77, but remember that critical fire danger tomorrow. Absolutely no outdoor burning. The conditions are just way too dangerous right now. Little Rock at 69. Jackson at 71, the Gulf states all looking beautiful today. Soak it in before that cold air arrives this weekend. Now out west, the mountains continue stacking snow. Sierra Nevada has picked up incredible totals this season and more is on the way. Ski resorts are absolutely loving life. Denver at 51 with 1 to 2 inches of snow. DEN Airport seeing some delays as usual when systems move through. Allow extra time if you're flying today. Salt Lake at 50 with 1 to 2 inches. Colorado Springs looking at 1 to 3 inches. Avalanche danger has decreased from yesterday, but still exercise caution in the backcountry. Reno at 38 with 1 to 3 inches of valley snow. The mountain passes remain slow and treacherous. Boise at 51 with light snow in the mountains. Phoenix at 68 and dry. Las Vegas at 63. Albuquerque at 55. Tucson at 68. The desert southwest staying quiet while California deals with all that moisture. Portland at 48 with about 1/3 of an inch of rain. Seattle at 47 with similar conditions. The Pacific Northwest staying typically soggy but nothing extreme. Spokane looking at a couple inches of snow. Billings at 44 with winds finally calming down from yesterday. Cheyenne at 48 with 1 to 3 inches and gusty winds continuing. Anchorage at 21 with 1 to 2 inches. Typical Alaskan February weather for you tough cookies up there. Honolulu at 78 with just tropical showers. Paradise as always. All right, let me break down the timeline for the next 5 days because there's a whole lot happening and I want you to know exactly when to expect what. So pay attention here. Today, the Minnesota blizzard finally winds down by midday. California gets another round of rain and wind. Power restoration continues across all affected areas. Tomorrow, Thursday, is severe weather day for the Ohio Valley. Storms firing from noon through evening, damaging winds and isolated tornadoes possible. Have your plan locked and ready. Also, tomorrow, critical fire weather across the Texas Panhandle through Oklahoma. Do not burn anything outside. Conditions are absolutely prime for rapid fire spread. Friday, that low pressure deepens and tracks into the Great Lakes, pulling the first wave of cold air southward and setting the stage for the weekend coastal storm. Friday also brings a light snow wave to New England. Boston could see a few inches. This is the appetizer before the main course potentially arrives Saturday night. Saturday night into Sunday, if the models verify. That nor'easter bombs out and heavy snow breaks from the mid-Atlantic through New England. This is the main event we're all watching. Sunday into Monday, Arctic air comes absolutely screaming in behind the storm. Temps crash 30 to 40 degrees across the eastern half of the country. Wind chills going negative in spots. Monday into Tuesday, the coldest air of the pattern settles in. Wind chills stretching all the way into northern Florida. Protect sensitive vegetation and outdoor pets. All right, 3 predictions. And I'm swinging for the fences on these. Screenshot this right now and hold me accountable tomorrow morning. Prediction 1. The Duluth area finishes with over 28 inches total from this blizzard, and power is fully restored to all but the most remote rural areas by midnight tonight. Prediction 2. We get at least 1 confirmed tornado in the Ohio Valley tomorrow, and the Storm Prediction Center upgrades at least part of the region to a moderate risk before noon Thursday. Prediction 3. I'm calling it right now. By Friday morning, both models show Boston with a 12-plus inch snowfall forecast for this weekend, and the track spread narrows to under 75 miles. If I nail all 3, share this video with one person who needs to see it. If I miss all 3, you have my full permission to roast me mercilessly in the comments tomorrow. Now let me talk safety, because with everything happening this week, there's too much potential for tragedy if folks aren't prepared, and I flat out refuse to sugarcoat any of this. Minnesota folks still without power. Generators go outside only, at least 20 feet from any window or door. No exceptions. Carbon monoxide has already killed people this winter. 3 winters ago, a father in Wisconsin ran a generator in his attached garage because his 2 little kids were shivering. By 6 a.m., he was gone. His 9-year-old daughter spent 3 weeks in the hospital. That family will never ever be the same. One desperate decision at 2 a.m. when the house was 38 degrees. If you're dangerously cold, get to a warming shelter. Your life is worth more than your pride. Ohio Valley folks, by tonight have your severe weather plan locked down tight. Know exactly where you're going when that warning drops. Don't be figuring it out when sirens are already blaring. California folks dealing with rain and potential debris flows. Stay away from hillsides and burned scars. If you see water turning muddy and starting to flow, move immediately to higher ground. East Coast folks watching that weekend system. Not saying panic buy, but top off the gas tank Friday. Know where your snow removal equipment is. Have batteries and flashlights ready just in case. And for everyone with elderly parents or grandparents anywhere in these affected areas, pick up the phone today, not tomorrow. Today. Make sure they have what they need and know they're not alone. 4 things I'm watching most closely over the next 72 hours. And these are what I need you keeping on your radar too. So listen up. Number 1. Minnesota power restoration and final snow totals. Linda in Duluth has been waiting 22 hours and counting. I want to see those lights back on today. Number 2. Tomorrow's severe weather outbreak in the Ohio Valley. Any tornado touchdowns in February are always significant events that demand our full attention. Number 3, model convergence on that weekend nor'easter track. We need that 100-mile spread to narrow down before I can give you high confidence on snow totals. Number 4, how far south this Arctic blast penetrates early next week. The models are showing wind chills into Florida, and that's going to be a big deal for agriculture. Drop your city in the comments. Tell me what you're seeing out your window right this second. Are conditions matching what I'm telling you? Your ground truth reports help everyone. What region do you want me to dive deeper on tomorrow? East Coast nor'easter details, Ohio Valley severe breakdown, or the Arctic blast impacts? Let me know what's most important to you. If you've got family anywhere in the affected areas, share this video with them right now. Don't just assume they're watching the news. That share button might literally keep somebody safe tonight. I'll be watching the afternoon model runs very closely. If anything shifts significantly on that weekend storm or tomorrow's severe threat, I'll have an update out before you go to bed. If this video helped you understand what's heading your way, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. With this pattern, there's major weather almost every single day. Remember those numbers I started with: 130,000 without power, 78,000 in California, 75 miles per hour winds, 9 landslides, a 100-mile track difference that changes everything, and a 5% tornado risk nobody's discussing. That's why I'm here every single morning at 6 a.m., because weather doesn't punch a clock, and neither do I. When conditions turn dangerous, you deserve to know about it first. Somewhere in Duluth right now, there's an 81-year-old grandmother named Linda sitting alone in a 39-degree house, wrapped in every blanket she owns, wondering when the power is finally coming back on. That's somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother, somebody's whole world, and she's been cold and scared and alone for 22 hours now. Be the person who makes that phone call today. Be the neighbor who knocks on that door with an extra blanket. Be the reason somebody makes it through this storm safe and warm. That's what community really means. That's what we do here. And that's why I'll keep showing up every single day to keep you informed and prepared. Stay safe out there today, folks. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly ones. Bring your pets inside. And if you're in any kind of warning area, take it deadly serious. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning with the overnight updates. We'll track how those models handle the nor'easter and see if my predictions hit or missed. You're not just viewers to me, folks. You're family. And this community we've built together keeps each other informed, prepared, and safe. That's the whole point of what we do here. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other out there. God bless every one of you. See you tomorrow morning. Peace.